And all the fire trucks and everything back there.
Good evening. This is the May 17th meeting of the San Bruno Planning Commission. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Marshall.
Here.
Commissioner Chase.
Here.
Chair Peterson.
Here.
Commissioner Biasotti.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Mishra.
Here.
Vice Chair Samut called earlier and he will not be able to be here tonight.
I'd like to ask Commissioner Chase to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first item of business is approval of the minutes of April 19th.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, communications.
Just a standard that people at home could find the e-packets at sanbruno.ca.gov. In the planning section, you can find the agenda as well as the staff reports and the minutes within that packet.
Very good. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Item number 3 is for public comment on items not on the agenda. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak? Seeing none, we'll move to agenda item 4, announcement of conflict of interest. Do any commission members feel they have a conflict? No? Okay. Item 5A is 140 Dover Court. Request for a use permit to construct a second-story addition with transparent windows adjacent to abutting properties that have a side yard greater than 10 feet per sections 12-200 40B1 of the San Bruno Municipal Code. Staff report, please.
Thank you and good evening. As stated, the applicant has applied for a use permit to construct a second-story addition with transparent windows adjacent to abutting properties that have a side yard greater than 10 feet. The subject site is located on Dover Court and is currently developed with a one-story single-family dwelling. The addition is 779 square feet and consists of a first and second-story addition. The first-story addition is 172 square feet and will contain a larger bathroom and a new kitchen area. The second floor addition will be 607 square feet and will include a new bedroom, office, and one bathroom. If approved and constructed, this project would contain 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and would include one office with a total living area of 2,084 square feet and a 2-car garage, which is 425 square feet. One thing I would like to point out about this particular application is that it is meeting all development standards of the zoning district. It's meeting the FAR requirements, the lot coverage requirements, height requirements, and setback requirements. The only reason why we're here tonight and the Planning Commission action is required is because the second-story addition contains transparent windows that abut side properties with a side yard greater than 10 feet. We typically don't see this entitlement request that often here in San Bruno, as the majority of side properties contain 3 to 5 foot side yard setbacks. In this particular instance, both properties located on either side of the subject site have side yard setbacks greater than 10 feet, therefore the use permit is required. The intent behind this requirement is really to protect the privacy of the abutting neighbors, as they are more likely to utilize their rear yard area as open rear yard space. In both instances, staff does not find that there will be significant privacy impacts on the abutting property owners. Specifically, that second-story addition is set back several feet from the adjoining side property lines. Additionally, there is some natural landscaping that will provide an additional screening element. Overall, staff finds that the proposal is consistent with the residential design guidelines. Specifically, the project is incorporating setbacks from the first story below, which is a recommended facade articulation technique within the residential design guidelines. Additionally, the south side elevation is contains a architectural band that really breaks up that first and second story elevation. The project was heard at the April Architectural Review Committee meeting, and at that meeting, the Architectural Review Committee forwarded this project onto the Planning Commission with a favorable recommendation. Staff did send out a courtesy notice and the required 300-foot notification to property owners. We did receive one comment from a concerned property owner located directly to the rear of the subject site, and those concerns were in regards to privacy. Staff did meet with that property owner in person. We went over the full-size set of plans. I discussed the addition with that specific property owner and really just went over it, and I showed the property owner how that second story was set back considerably from the rear property line. Once he realized how far it was set back, he was not objecting to the proposed addition. With that, staff would recommend that the Planning Commission approve the project based on findings of fact 1 through 7 and conditions of approval 1 through 23. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Any commission members have a question for staff before the public hearing?
Through the chair.
Commissioner Marshall.
Just I mean, it's not on, it's kind of on this project, but on this new transparent window thing. So if they didn't have that window in the bedroom, they wouldn't have to come here?
Well, there are transparent windows on the east and west side elevation, so there would have to be essentially no windows on the side elevation. Because
And
there
that's
are
only if someone
transparent
has
windows.
Now, could they have a side setback of more than 10 feet? That's the only reason it has come?
The only
because
reason why we're here tonight is because the adjoining properties have a side yard greater than 10 feet.
the adjoining property, not their
Yes,
property.
correct.
The adjoining property.
Correct.
And how do you have a window that's not transparent?
Well, it's a municipal code requirement.
Okay, no, I'm just curious. I mean, is that in the code a transparent window, or is that just?
You'd have one like one of those obscured glass bathroom type windows.
Okay, I'm just not because of this project, because I don't think I've ever seen that since we've been up here. I've never seen this.
We've had one
a condition.
recently.
Have we?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing it. Okay. Thank you.
Through the chair, just for my own understanding, then, so if it was like a 3 or a 5 foot setback, they could have a transparent window?
If the adjoining property owners located on either side of the subject site
Right.
had side yard setbacks less than 10 feet, we wouldn't be here tonight. So the only reason why we are here.
So if they were closer in, they could have a clear window? Okay.
Without a permit. Technically, you said that all the setbacks met the requirements. Technically, there's one of them that's 4 feet on one of the side setbacks. So it's close to meeting all the zoning requirements, but just a little different on one.
Oh, yeah, the corner of the garage, you're
Right.
correct, the existing single-family home, correct.
Right, but I agree with you in substance. It essentially meets all the zoning requirements. Okay, any other commissioner questions for the staff? Okay, I'll open the public hearing and ask the applicant to come forward first and make any comments you wish about the application. Give your name and street name.
My name is Serena Calhoun. I am the project architect for this project for the property located at 140 Dover Court. I don't really have any comments. Matt's been really great to work with, and I think that the guidelines are very clearly set forth, and we did our best to just submit everything in compliance with your standards. Unfortunately, we couldn't move the neighbors' houses. We can only deal with our own. So we hope that you can approve our project. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Biasotti has a question for you.
When we were at architectural review, we had suggested the possibility of pre-wiring for solar. Did you guys look into that at all?
We did look into it. We have a very, very modest budget on this project, and any additional costs will push us a little bit over. So it's something that we would consider in construction if the money is there. However, we haven't put it out to bid yet because we're not through the approvals process. So until we see the final numbers, we are not really able to address that issue at this time.
Fair enough. Thank you for thinking about it.
Thank you very much. Are there any other members of the public have comment on this application? Okay. Seeing no one coming forward, and without objection, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission for discussion.
Through the chair,
Commissioner Marshall.
I move we approve use permit 1103 of the planning with findings of fact 1 through 7 and conditions of approval 1 through 23.
Second. And have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and there's a 10-day appeal period, and then you're all set.
Watch your windows.
Okay, moving ahead. Thank you. To agenda item 5B, which is about a lot under Highway 380, a request for a use permit to allow an off-site construction staging area in a construction staging lot located on the corner of Huntington Avenue and Herman Street per section 1296 180C of the Municipal Code. Staff report, please.
Thank you. Good evening. The applicant, Granite Construction, is requesting a use permit to allow the use of the vacant lot located under Highway 380 as a construction staging site. I know the Commission's familiar with this process. You've seen a temporary use permit before, but this is a regular use permit because the use is intended to last for longer than 1 year. So the applicant, Granite Construction, has been awarded the grade separation construction project. They started construction last October, and that project is intended to last for 2 years. They do have use of the former San Bruno lumberyard site for construction staging. However, that is also where they have their construction trailers, and they need one for their operations as well as one for Caltrans to have some oversight offices as well. So that site is pretty limited, and if you can imagine the scale and scope of the grade separation project is going to require a lot of materials, and I can have the representative from Granite go into more detail on that for you. But they have been talking to the city for some time about trying to find a suitable location to have some additional construction storage. So this site, they did receive a letter of authorization from Caltrans, who is the property owner, to allow use of this property. We did notice the site to property owners within the 300-foot radius, and we have not received any comments. There are 2 conditions that we would like to add to the use permit. One is noise generating activities shall be limited to the hours of 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the second condition is the contractor shall not stockpile or store any contaminated or hazardous dirt or materials on the site. And as indicated in your staff report, they will completely fence in the site with a 6-foot tall chain link fence, and that will also be screened with green mesh is what they're proposing. I had in there as a condition, alternatively, it could be black mesh. So I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. We also have a representative from Granite to answer any questions as well.
Through the chair.
Commissioner Biassatti.
One of the conditions is return the existing lot to its original condition. I've seen in other places where they've added a condition where the street and curbs in that area would be returned to original condition as well, with heavy equipment and whatnot that will be coming and going during that period of time.
What we could do is document the street currently, and then make sure that it isn't damaged or, like you're saying, return to its current condition.
Should we make a condition for that?
We could add that.
Okay.
Commissioner Mishra.
Question on your added comment.
Yes.
Conditions of approval. That's Monday through Friday, right? 7 a.m.
I would, and then what I would add is what we've done in past projects is that either Public Services Director or Community Development Director's approval is required if they want to go beyond those hours, because there are going to be some times they need to work on a Saturday in order to get this done, or work past 6 to 7 or 8 o'clock.
I'm comfortable with that.
So I'll add it Monday through Friday unless approval of Public Services Director?
Yeah.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Thank you.
Commissioner Marshall.
On the, is the only entrance going to be on the residential side of that lot?
That is the
whole
only,
lot
I believe
is
it's the only
surrounded-
existing
The
curb
whole lot
cut.
is surrounded by basically commercial, except for one small area is residential, and that's where they're going to put all the trucks in and out of. Can't we put the entrance onto Herman, or maybe I'll wait till the applicant.
Okay.
I just think if you're going to bring trucks in and out,
Sure.
I don't know. Okay.
Do you want
You're
to?
going to want
Yeah,
to
we're gonna,
come
why
up
don't we
here
wait
so
till you come up here and I'll ask you again there. Okay, thanks.
Good. Anything else?
Any other questions for staff? Okay, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
staff. Now we'll open the public hearing and ask the applicant to come forward, give your name and street name, and make any comments you wish on your application. Thank you.
I'm Kelly Turner. I'm the project director with Granite Construction. Our office is currently at 833 San Mateo. As you can see from our application, we're looking for some additional storage for construction materials. The project's quite challenged, being there's virtually no available space other than where our offices are, and half of that area that we currently have is going to be taken up by the shoe fly track that's going to be shifted eastward, which takes up virtually all the remaining space that we have. So what we're looking to do primarily is stockpile precast concrete panels, which will be the components of the mechanically stabilized earth walls, what you see along freeways quite a bit. That's what's going to build the fill that carries the tracks up to the new station elevation. So it requires a lot of flat space just to get in there with forklifts and a truck just to offload it and stage it onto the job site incrementally so that you're not all over the street with panels laying all over. It's a logical thing to do with this much square footage of panel that we're dealing with. So that's its primary use, is the precast panels. There'll be part of the panel construction is mesh that goes in between the fill. It serves as sort of an anchor. It's just like what you see with typical concrete sidewalk construction, just a little heavier gauge. So that's the primary use of the lot.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Through the chair?
Commissioner Marshall.
Well, basically the same question, and to be honest, after thinking about it, for traffic-wise, it may be better off that way. Now, I would kind of leave that up to the to Aaron to make a decision after he reviews it for traffic and noise, and I think that's maybe just one side of the house is there, and if it could be easily put onto a commercial street, I think it'd be better, but I'll leave it up to you to decide, after reviewing the project. If the applicant's okay with it.
Yeah, and I actually do, we had the same issue probably about 5 years ago when there was another construction lot proposed here, and I think we initially wanted the driveway curb cut moved at that point too, and then the city engineer took a look at it and said it was going to, get in the way of traffic or create a dangerous situation. So we'll make sure they check that out again and implement it if it is safe.
If it can be safe somewhere else, I think it might be better, but if it's for traffic, it might be better where it's at.
Okay.
Okay.
Through the chair?
Commissioner Bisatti.
When we used that lot for conditional use the last time, there was a security guard shack that was there. Are you anticipating anything like that, where there'll be someone there at nighttime?
We have full-time security, both roving security and over where our other office is. So there's somebody running around that area all the time at night.
Okay, but it won't be a stationary location?
No.
Okay.
It's going to be a roving service in a marked vehicle.
Okay, great. And the other thing is, would you object to a condition where we requested that you return the streets to original condition?
No problem.
Thank you.
We have no problem fixing whatever we've damaged.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Commissioner Johnson.
And I also wanted to ask about any graffiti that might be taking place, although I see that you're making plans for security. If it's not going to be one that's stationed full-time, those tackers can get right in there pretty quickly and get in there. So would you be opposed to having a condition that you would take care of any graffiti that would be happen on your property?
There's no
or
problem.
the location?
What I would expect if somebody was going to do it would be on that green mesh that we're going to have, along the fence line for we call it a gawk screen. That's what they would do. We would just replace that. And if anybody's getting inside the lot, we've got a bigger problem, which we'll have to deal with it. But yeah, that's not a problem.
So have you had other experiences where you've had loitering or vandalism and in those types of areas?
No, this area actually is pretty good. We haven't had any problem with the security service seems to take care of whatever mischief might be.
It also looks like the type of equipment that you have, it's not like highly desirous to
No,
types
you have to
of
be pretty.
materials for gas panels. Okay, so I think you've addressed all my areas. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other commission questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And seeing no other members of the public tonight, and without objection, I'll close the public hearing, bring the matter back to the commission for discussion.
Through the chair.
Commissioner Johnson.
If there is no further discussion, I move that the Planning Commission approve use permit 11-008 based on the findings of facts 1 through 3 and conditions of approval 1 through, we have several that have been added. So I believe there are 2 additional ones, and if we can
I believe we have 3 additional conditions, and I'd suggest amending condition 3 to add graffiti removal.
Okay.
Okay, is there a
So
second?
condition
Second.
1 through 10.
Okay,
After you.
so now we have Commissioner Chase with a second in a close contest.
I think that was first.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's unanimous, and there's a 10-day appeal period. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, agenda item number 6 is city staff discussion.
All right, I'll give somewhat of a Glenview update. I think many people saw that we had our first groundbreaking ceremony last week. The Hensel family broke ground on their homes, one of the 38 homes that was destroyed during the fire. So that was a big step forward for San Bruno. We also issued our second building permit last week, so 2 of the homes now have building permits and are should be under construction now or within the next week or so. There's another couple that are in building permit review right now, as well as a number that are also in planning review. So in total, there's now 22 that are either permits issued or in some stage of design. So that's 22 of the 38, and we know of others that have also decided to go forward. So it's a great step forward. We're moving along. The expedited planning process seems to be working well for people. So it's just good to hear, and I think you'll hear more about it as we go. We'll try to give monthly updates to everyone here at the Planning Commission. I don't know if anyone has any questions about progress up there or not.
It's good news.
Good.
I do have a
Sure.
question for you. Do they still have security coming in and out through that area?
Right now we have 2 security guards. Basically, there's an area of Glenview that's still blocked off from about 950 Glenview up to the intersection of Glenview and Claremont. So basically about 100 feet in each direction surrounding the blast site hole. We're trying to get access through there as quickly as possible, but the problem is the NTSB hasn't finished their investigation yet, so they're not letting us fill the hole yet. So once we fill the hole, we'll do some short-term measures so that traffic could go back, because there's a lot of people that have to go the long route to get to Lunardi's or get to San Bruno Avenue right now, and they want to be able to go their normal way. So once we get the okay from NTSB, we'll do short-term fix on it so people get around, and then the long-term the tricky part right now is balancing having 50 construction crews in this area and doing the final street improvements. You don't want to do all those final street improvements when you don't know where all the curb cuts are going to be for all the homes, and you're going to have all these construction crews over there. So we're going to have to figure out from a timing standpoint, when do we want to make those final street and sidewalk improvements, and do we want to do it ahead of the construction going on. So I think there's going to be some short-term measures and then longer-term measures in the long run, but security is still securing that immediate area there.
Thank you.
All right. Other than that, June 16th, Planning Commission. ARC review, I mean. Volunteers, please. Commissioner Biasotti, Samut, and Chase. With Marshall playing backup.
Marshall did
Again.
Yeah.
Jeez, Bobby.
And also, thank you. We're having a special June 2nd Architectural Review Committee meeting, and for 2 of the homeowners that are in design right now. So we thank you for people who volunteered for that as well. That's it.
Okay, 6B, Planning Commission discussion. Any comments?
Through the chair.
Commissioner Chase.
What's going on with the treetops? I drive by there in the last couple of weeks. I've been seeing some grading work where they, took down the grassy knoll, for lack of a better term. What's the what the heck's going on?
So basically, there's going to be 2 phases. Phase 1 right now they have started, and that's that corner parcel on the corner of Skyline and Sharp Park. Gas station was there probably 30 years ago or so. There's some contaminated soil there. So they're having to remove that contaminated soil as well as do some grading work to make way for the clubhouse that's going to be there. That's probably going to take a month or so. Once that's all completed, the second phase is going to be construction. They're waiting on the final phases of their HUD loan right now, which has been verbally approved. There's just a lot of paperwork that has to be done, obviously, when you go through a federal loan process. So once that's complete, they're actually going to start construction on the apartments themselves. They already have their building permit approved. They just need to pay for it and pick it up. So that's all set to go. So they're well on their way. So to starting construction. Then they're predicting about a 14 to 16 month construction process once it starts.
That's good news too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Commissioner Marshall.
How about another update on the restaurant at El Camino?
The new ones?
Well, the one big, the
Lee's Buffet?
Lee's Buffet, the old distillery,
Oh, okay. So 271 El Camino.
wait, it's 271 because it's painted in big orange spray paint on the front
Yeah,
of
I
the
saw
building.
that. I saw that. I knew it anyway. Though.
I thought that was
Before the spray paint. So that was used to be Lee's Buffet. It was a distillery before. It's been vacant probably for 5 years now. Restaurant owner out of Santa Clara has purchased it. They're planning to submit plans to basically. There was approval about 3 years ago to completely redo the place.
From a San Francisco base.
Yeah, San Francisco, pretty extravagant design. Those plans have been shelved right now. They sold the property, went into foreclosure, and someone bought it while it was in foreclosure. So these new property owners are going to do a more modest improvements to the exterior of the building. They're not going to be expanded at all, and then just use it as a restaurant again. So hopefully that gets going within the next few months construction there.
Can't we, being in a commercial district like that, make them clean it up now as a property owner?
Yeah, I mean, we've made them do, short-term things, clean it up, like re-fence it, pick up the landscaping when it got too tall. I don't know who spray painted that. It wasn't like that before. And
well, it's not graffiti because it's an address.
Yeah. Hopefully the graffiti artist didn't want to just identify the building.
If we were in, for the business owners that are in town, if the weeds get more than 6 inches, we get threatening letters from the city. But then we have a business that's not operating that's kind of
well, this current property owners cut down the weeds right when we asked him. We were having a lot of trouble with the previous property owner because he wasn't paying his mortgage. So there was a point in time where the bank was basically controlling the property, and that's always a little bit more difficult. But yeah, we could send someone out there and send them letters, and we could get them to do it. And put some plywood that doesn't have the address spray painted on it like that.
But can't we even make them landscape it? If they were operated, it'd have to be landscaped. I mean, with a gardening service or with, I mean.
Yeah, you could probably do it. It's different when you have an active business with an active business license than when you don't, unfortunately, for a vacant building.
You're a property owner, though.
Yeah. Yeah, but we could definitely make them do something. I mean, it might just be turning on the irrigation systems and planting some landscaping so that it could go again.
It's been long enough. That's been too long.
Yeah, and this property owner seems a lot more willing to make improvements than the last one.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yeah, through the chair.
Commissioner Biasotti.
Since Aaron wasn't here at the last meeting, we'd like to pass along our congratulations to him and his family.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? Okay. Item 7 is adjournment. Meeting adjourned.